We set up a website some years ago called Ex-Catholics for Christ, and we have a backup channel on YouTube by the same name. But an event occurred quite recently which made me think about making a video called Ex-Calvinists for Christ. We have been blessed over the years to meet a lot of Christians from all walks of life, and right from the outset, let me just say, if you don't know, that we are a non-denominational ministry. We don't consider ourselves to be Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist. We are non-denominational. We're not Calvinists and we are not Arminians. Okay, I want to stress that right from the outset. But we had an event quite recently at this ministry where we worked with a party who later turned out to be a Calvinist. Now at the time we didn't know that, and even if we had known it for that event, we would have remained with this party for the sake of an outreach. Now sometimes you have to put differences aside to get the gospel out. However, this party that we were working with didn't like the fact that we were not Calvinist, and this party very quickly disappeared, shall we say. Now this isn't the first time this has happened. I can recall a person I knew some years ago who was a hyper-Calvinist, and they do draw a distinction among themselves between hyper-Calvinists and normal Calvinists, and this party was a hyper-Calvinist, like I say, and he took a massive disliking to me, a personal disliking to me. It doesn't bother me, and I'm just telling you the story because this has probably happened to you as well. Now, this person was very friendly with a Mormon couple. Now, Mormonism is Antichrist through and through. How can it be that a good old Calvinist despised me because of my views on Calvinism, and he was quite content to associate with Mormons? Strange, isn't it? He didn't like me because I stand against Calvinism, and I make no apologies for that whatsoever. He was happier with this Mormon couple because they never pulled him up. They never showed him the problems of Calvinism, whereas I did. Now, let me say this to you also. We could have got a lot more traffic to our website had we not been anti-Calvinist, and we can think of a couple of quite well-known ex-Catholic ministries that are run by Calvinists, and I make no apologies for the fact that we won't stand down, we won't stop opposing Calvinism, because we consider Calvinism to be as dangerous as Catholicism. And these ministries that you would know if I named them are run by Calvinists. I know a woman who's a hyper-Calvinist. Now for us there's no real distinction, but within Reformed circles they do draw distinctions between Calvinism and hyper-Calvinism. Your hyper-Calvinist would be a Fred Phelps character, if you don't know, and a moderate Calvinist would be a Charles Spurgeon, just to give you something to play between. Ian Paisley is also a Calvinist, if you didn't know, and yes, he baptises babies too. But anyway, I know a woman who was a Calvinist, a hyper-Calvinist, and she too didn't like me very much because I criticised Calvinism. And yet she was quite happy to associate with a charismatic into the Toronto Blessing and other issues because A, he didn't follow up, and B, they got on very well. Now most people separate over personalities. The Bible does say that you should separate from heresy, you should separate from those who cause divisions, which is absolutely so, but most people don't divide over theology, they divide over personalities. And of course this is the problem with religion. Now, we consider Calvinism to be, for many people, a god. They worship Calvinism. They worship the tulip. They worship the Westminster Confession of Faith. And we've lost friends because of our opposition to Calvinism, and we're not going to stop anytime soon. One thing you will get with Ex-Catholics of Christ is a very clear, unapologetic view of whatever we believe. And we hope and pray that you're with us on our issues, and if you're not, then you're not. But what you won't get from us is an attack, a personal attack on you for opposing us on any particular issue, whether it's a King James issue, which we are for. By the way, if you didn't know, we are King James Ministry. We're into once saved, always saved. We're into a lot of other issues, which you should know by now if you've ever watched any of our videos. But this party that we've recently met, like I've already told you at the beginning of this video, didn't like our non-Calvinistic views, and he quickly hit the bricks, as they say. Now, he needs to be I don't know, how can I put this? He needs to be spoken to in a loving sort of way. It wouldn't help for us to do it, but if you are a Calvinist, if you're a moderate Calvinist, then it's down to you. You're the sort of people that can get through to these hypers. They won't listen to us, but they might listen to you. And I'm calling on hyper-Calvinists to repent, to come away from this worship, this systematic worship of men. Calvinism does appeal to the flesh, it appeals to the intellect, and just because you're a Calvinist doesn't mean you're an Arminian. An Arminian, for those who don't know, is a belief that you can lose your salvation, and by the way, James Arminius never did teach it, but I'm not an Arminian, I don't care for it particularly. I have read bits of Jacob, or James Arminius, he went by both names. In fact, I've probably read more on James Arminius than a lot of Calvinists have. And yes, I've read bits of Calvinism too. And do you know what? I find the whole thing completely sickening and a complete waste of time. And I just call on you Calvinists to repent. This video is going to be called Ex-Calvinists for Christ. You're in a system, you're in an organisation, you need to get out of it. You need to get out of it quickly. It's all very well you guys going along witnessing to Catholics to get them saved, and we don't oppose that, but you guys are in a system yourself. You need to be delivered from Calvinism. You need to get out of it quickly. These people are quick enough to shun us because of our position to Calvinism, which is fine. I'm not saying woe is me, I'm not looking for your sympathy, I'm just sharing a point. I'm sharing an event or two with you, because I would say if it's happened to us, I'm sure it's happened to you too. And don't put your faith in Calvinism. Never mind Calvin and Luther and all those guys. Put your faith in the finished work of Jesus Christ.